Hello, I'm Josh George. I want to talk about Pac-12 football for the 2018 season. We're going to start with Oregon State. Oregon State had one win last year. It was 35-32 win over Portland State. This year their schedule's a little bit harder than last year. I think they're the worst team among Power 5 teams, and I think they'll be 0-12. Then we're going to talk about Washington State. Mike Leach lost a star quarterback and only returns 4 starters to his offense. That's why I think Washington State will struggle as well. I have them at 6-6. Then to Cal Berkeley. I think Cal has a team that can score a lot of points. They return 10 starters on offense and have the best scoring defense in the Pac-12, averaging 14 points per game. That is why I have Cal Berkeley at 7-5. Then to Oregon. Oregon returns both their leaders on defense and offense. Herb Edwards on offense at quarterback and Trey Dye, linebacker, on defense. I think these are good signs for Oregon. That is why I have Oregon at 9-3. Then Stanford. Stanford has Bryce Love, Heisman contender for sure. Probably going to be a finalist, almost a guarantee to be a finalist. The problem is, how will he stay? How will his health be? And how will the rest of the team do around him? I think they've got a lot of things that they're doing right, though. I think Bryce Love can carry the team for the most part in most of their games. I have Stanford at 9-3. Then, winning the Northern Division, I have the Washington Huskies. Washington returns Gaskin and Browning, 2 big keys to their offense. I think that the two of them together will have, I think they're going to average at least 30 points a game and have one of the best offenses in the Pac-12. The thing that worries me, though, is the lack of physicality on the offensive and defensive line for Washington. And having to play Auburn early in Atlanta, it could be evident there. It could be evident in a physical Apple Cup. It could be evident if they have to play USC later. But I have Washington winning the division, going 10-2, losing to Auburn and Washington State. Then, moving on to the Southern Division, we're going to start with Colorado. Colorado only had 2 wins in conference play last season. They play a much harder non-conference having this season, and they had to play Nebraska in the non-conference. That is why I have Colorado 3-9 this season. Then to Arizona. Arizona was a consistent team on a 4-game winning streak at one point and ended the season on a 3-game losing streak. I think that inconsistency will continue into this season, 6-6 for the Arizona Wildcats. Then, moving on to Arizona State. We're all wondering, what is Herm Edwards going to do? What is Danny Gonzalez going to do with this offense? I think it's going to be a heavy dose of run the football, a run-first team. And in the Pac-12, I don't think that's going to lead to a ton of success. That is why I have Arizona State 6-6. Then, moving on to Utah. I think Utah has a good non-conference. I think that they'll win their non-conference games. They have the best running back in the Southern Division with Zach Moses and a lot of good guys around him. Physical offensive line again this season. That's kind of a trademark. And the best special teams in the Pac-12, having a kicker that hit 5+ 50-yard field goals and the best punter in the Pac-12. So I have them at 8-4, but losing some key games like to UCLA and maybe to USC. So moving on to UCLA, a team that I have finishing second in the division. I have them losing an early game to Oklahoma, and I know Chip Kelly only has 4 starters on offense, but I think that will develop as the year goes on. The problem is their defense is not good against running quarterbacks, and that will be the big weakness for UCLA. I have them at 7-5. Then USC, they're going to have a freshman quarterback. We don't know if it will be Sears or Miles yet. They also have no defensive linemen starters returning from last season. And having to go on the road and play Stanford and Texas early, I think, are places they could struggle. They could also struggle in a big rivalry game against Notre Dame. And I think they're going to have a couple losses there. I have them at 8-4, winning the division and playing Washington in the conference championship. But their physicality I think they will have developed at the end of the year is why they knock off Washington, making Washington 10-3 and second in the Pac-12, and USC first in the Pac-12, finishing the year at 9-4. This is Josh George, College Football.